Welcome to Title 10. Today I'm going to talk about books, comics, or otherwise adapted to film. I see all over the internet people complaining, oh well, this didn't happen in the book. Well, it didn't happen quite that way. These characters weren't there. As far as comic books are concerned, if you are as big as fans as some claim to be, you would notice every so often series gets not exactly rebooted, but slightly changed based on the artists, writers of the comic books' discretion. Characters change anywhere from skin color to gender, costume changes. For the most part, when the comic books make that change, to either retell a certain part of the story or to tell a different way, a different viewpoint than what the original, I've never seen anybody complain. Well, talking amongst friends, yes, there are some complaints, but it's not a big deal. It's like, oh, well, I like that better. Oh, well, if they're going to change it, they should have changed it to this. Wolverine wasn't always blue and yellow, looked quite different from time to time. X-Men Apocalypse, some versions have him twice as tall as an average human. Others have him more towards an average person's size. There's no complaints. Like I said, outfits change throughout the comic books, but it only seems to be a problem when it comes to film. If it's not precisely what's in the comic books, people have a problem and a conniption. The film doesn't look exactly like the comic book. Somehow that makes automatically a bad film. First Judge Dredd movie with Stallone. People were saying, oh, it's horrible. It's not like the comic strip. That doesn't make it a bad film. Same thing with the second Dredd movie with Carl Urban. Didn't exactly happen like the comic strip or later comic books, so it's horrible. Not true. Just like in the comic books, when the character or the story changes hands, they adapt it to their style, how they want to see it. Same thing's being done with film. And besides taking liberty with the material, not everything transfers well from comic book to film. So they have to take it out, slightly alter it to make it work for the camera. Not to mention, actors might not be comfortable doing certain scenes. And if you want it exactly like the comic book, read the comic book. If you watched my Soylent Green video, you'll know Soylent Green, the film, wasn't exactly original. Had a lot of original content in it, but itself was not. I personally believe why some people believe that the comic book or book is better because they're imagining what's happening. They're making a transition from one event to another in their head. What you're going to think of is what's best in your eyes. Everybody has a different conception of what happened. Plus, there's the money consideration. Something that happens in a book might cost an absorbent amount of money to make it happen on film. There might not be that much room in the budget, might not have enough to do the scene precisely as it is conceived in the novel. Fangirls or fan guys, they know the material. They know the source material really well. What people should keep in mind, not everybody knows that same material. Be it they don't know about it, or maybe they don't like comic books. I've come across a few people, they don't like comic books, but they love the Marvel and DC movies. If a given event or situation drives the film based on the source material, people who have not read the comic books or novels won't understand what is happening. And if they don't understand what's happening, they're going to either stop watching it or not buy it when it comes out on digital release. Suicide Squad, horrible movie. From what I've been able to hear from people who actually have the physical comic book of Suicide Squad, it was actually pretty good. People slowly discovered deleted scenes changed the story. People are saying, oh, there's not enough women characters, they never existed. Well, I know from Batman animated series, Harley Quinn gave as good as she got. There's a few scenes with Pam Isley and Leslie Willis. With Quinzel, they are either, I believe it's called Holiday Nights. No, that was just with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. I forget the one where it was all three of them. They gave Batman a run for his money. So the stories exist. They're just not being made into film and more well known and gets a greater publicity than comic books or an animated series. As far as race in comic books or novels, yes, it would be great to have a smorgasbord of nationalities. Can't please everybody. There are so many nationalities on this planet, can't have them all. If a character is originally white and turns out to be a not white character in the film, no one says anything. I've yet to come across one person complaining about it. Director Fury, for example, I believe he was originally white in a comic book, and Samuel L. Jackson playing his character in the films. No one's had an issue. I've been saying it for years. It's one thing if they're specifically looking for a white person to play any role, and a black, well, not white person comes along, blows the role out of the water, does a great job being casted, and they turn him away, or her away, because of their skin tone. I've yet to hear that happen. Not saying it doesn't, I'm saying I've yet to hear it. No one comes in to try out for a given role and is not white, then of course there's not going to be a not white person on the screen, because no one besides white people tried out for it, or at least accepted the role. Another situation I've seen, people complaining black people are getting turned into animals, they're doing animal voices, they're getting their skin painted for the role. That is the character. Gamora's green. So whoever plays that role, white or otherwise, is going to have green skin on the film. And there's plenty of white people being voices for animals. If it was such a problem of having makeup or a costume that makes their skin look green, doubt they would have accepted the role. That's my take on novel adaptations to film. Thank you for watching Title 10.